I finally got the bracket out. What is this big bad boy? So, as you can see, this side right here actually is wrapped around the power steering pump. So you're gonna have to remove the power steering pump. And even though they say 120,000 miles in the book, now you can see it close up. That part came out right there, and this had already come apart right there. So that was the noise that was being heard when the car the other night was running. I heard something tapping on the valve cover. Now you can see, or the timing cover. Now you can see what it is. Pretty much got it down to it. The timing mark is just above that. You can barely see it right there. Alright, see the triangle right there? Oh, burn up here. Alright. You can see I got that lined up right there. There we go. There's a good shot. So, timing's lined up on the bottom. Now we're going to change the water pump out while we got this out. So, and as you see, I had to remove the cover to get to the water pump. There's your water pump right there. You have to remove every bit of this to get to it. And this is no easy task. To be honest with you, if you're not good at mechanics, take this to a shop. Because technically speaking, I had to wiggle this out. The actual, that right there, if it wasn't broken, would have never came past this right here. So this, you'd have to evacuate and then refill your AC system. I had to also take off the roller right here, so which is a T45, to get that off. And you know, like I said, this was no easy task in here. I'm gonna have to use a 3-prong puller to get the bottom pulley off. So the motor's all raised up, so now I'll start sitting everything up. I'm gonna change timing, and then the next step of course would be to get the timing belt on there. Alright, I'm going to show you one of my little tricks. Since you're putting an O-ring on there, I take a little bit of RTV and I simply put a little ledge on the back side closer to the outer edges of the water pump, because your sealant, or what's going to seal it, is your actual O-ring. So don't worry about, you don't need to make a gasket or anything like that. The only reason I'm doing that is it helps hold that O-ring into place when you're reaching down into this little nice engine compartment here. So that way everything stays in place. Once you get your bolts in there, you're good to go. It's just a little teeny trick from me to you. Little RTV helps hold it in place. Okay, here's the 2 water pumps. This seal is pretty much toast. I mean, it's as flat as can be. It's old. Looks like it's got a little corrosion starting to work its way through in a couple spots over here on this side. One of the biggest reasons why, and I know everyone's going to be like, well, if the water pump's not bad, why do I got to replace it? Well, do you see all that work that I've been doing just to get to the timing belt? Once you're in there that far, it's only worth replacing that water pump. Because the labor to get back in, if the water pump goes bad after a timing belt replacement, you're going to have to pay for all that labor twice. So just replace it. It's real simple. It's belt driven, it runs off your timing belt, so it's kind of just a no-brainer. Just replace it. Done deal. Alright, just wanted to show you the old one and the new one. On a quick note, since this is so deep into the motor, it looks like there was a teeny tad bit of thread lock on there. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a teeny bit of blue, just a little bit. Since it's so far into the motor, we're just going to go ahead and snug it up with a little bit of blue thread lock. That way we don't have to worry about these little bolts backing out. Alright, got the tensioner right there. I put a little teeny Allen key in there. There's a slot in it, and once you get it pulled back, then that allows you to get the belt on. So now we're ready to get to the belt. We got the new water pump on. The tensioner's clicked back, so it's ready to go. Time to put on the We're going to get the belt on there. While you're doing the belt, you also have to put on the cover and the bracket at the same time. It's just no room, very tight fit up in here. So we're going to get those two on there, and then we got to put the pulleys back on the car so we can get everything lined up. So when we get that done, we'll go back. On a quick note, I just want to show you guys, if you were looking at this water pump in the motor, you can see all the dirt and debris on there. So when you get your car back from the shop, you should be seeing a brand spanking new water pump, just to make sure that they actually did the job right. So you'd see that there's a big difference between that and this, as you can see, clear as day. So just something to look at when you get your car back. It doesn't hurt to pop the hood and take a look, or ask for the mechanic to put the parts that they take off in the car. That way you can guarantee you got your job done. Alright, we're putting everything back together right now. So we had a broken cover piece right here, so what we're going to do is use a little bit of RTV. It actually butts up to the back, and we're going to slide that cover down as far as we can so it just goes behind it, so it kind of secures it. So about the best we can do. This customer doesn't really want to pay anything extra in it, and that little piece is pretty pricey, so we're going to do a little quick fix on that one. Right now I've got the timing set. I lowered the motor down some, and I went ahead and got the timing marks. You can barely see them right there. Let's see if I got my light. Let me show you real quick. Alright, as you see, the marks are lined up right there. So that's what you want to do. Then we got to set the timing belt. Timing belt sits in a little groove in there, so we're going to go ahead and finish. Next is to set the timing up top, get the pulleys back on. Had to get the back cover all bolted up. Now I put this in here, but just for temporary, I'm gonna have to slide it back because I have the little Allen key in there holding that tensioner back. Alright, just a quick tip. Before I put the actual pulley on, as you see, if you put the pulley on there, you won't really be able to see your timing mark. And what I did was, I went ahead and rotated around. As you can see, there's the timing mark. And as you see, it's lined up perfectly. Okay, and I hand rotated the motor around, what you have to do to make sure you don't have anything touching on your valve train. And then when you come back up here after rotations, as you see back, you got your half tooth in there. So the PT Cruiser is now timed correctly, so now it's time to go ahead and put everything back together, and then go from there. So now that this is all done, it's just a matter of putting it back together and firing it up. Adding a little bit of power steering fluid to it, we had to take it back out, and done. Alright everyone, as you can see, everything's back together. Actually looks like a motor. Topping off the radiator right now, and it'll bubble up some. Make sure you got all the little bubbles out. All the brackets are bolted back together, so time to fire it up. Looks like a PT Cruiser again.